Hi there, this is Miss Emily from International School, Cagayan de Oro. So for this video session, I am going to discuss with you another topic. This topic is entitled Online Assessment. So one of the questions that was posted during our first webinar is how the students are being weighted or how the students are being graded on an online learning platform. So that's why I've come up with this video so that um, you will know and you will also learn that even if it's an online learning, there are still ways and means that the teacher can give scores, or there's still ways and means that the teacher can give grades to your children. So for today, before I will start with the discussion, let me just have a very brief recap to what we discussed during our last webinar. So during our discussion, we discussed about synchronous and asynchronous. So if you can still remember that on an online learning, there could be ways in which the teacher will do a synchronous and asynchronous method of teaching. So when I say synchronous, this is an example of a synchronous teaching in which there is it's 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 something what's this? There is an interaction and it's live. And when we say asynchronous, students' schedule is flexible in a way that the students have a control as to when they're going to perform the activity, as long as they will not be late in the submission of the required activities or assignments. So for today, I'm going to discuss with you about online assessment. So the very first thing is, from what we discussed in our previous video, it's very important that the students will have to log on to the learning management system, because if they will not log on, then they will not be able to know what are the activities set for them in that particular week by their teacher. So the very first thing that they have to do is they have to log in their LMS. So for kinder to grade 3, the students will be using Edmodo. Now, I myself is a user of Edmodo for 4 years already. And I find this learning platform very helpful because it's easy. And I know that when parents will also access Edmodo, they'll find it very easy, because once you have the code, you can get inside that particular class, and then you'll be able to see all the activities that the teacher will give. So for today, I will give you a very short uh, video clip of how to go about using Edmodo. As a disclaimer, I don't own this video. I just wanted to share it with you guys. So here it is.
Hello there, I'm Andrew with the Edmodo support team. Here at Edmodo, it is our mission to provide educators the support and tools they need to fully engage learners. Now, you may have already noticed that there are different account types depending on how you're planning to use our platform. In this video, I'll give you an overview of the various account types available on Edmodo, whether you're a teacher, a student, or a parent. If you are a teacher getting started for the first time, click Get Started as a Teacher and sign up for free with a valid email address. You can also use your Office 365 or Google credentials so that you can use these accounts to log in the future. We'll then ask for some basic information to help us set up your account, including the option to create your first class. After this, we'll take you here, your Edmodo homepage. We'll go in depth into the various features in your account later, but for now, you can access all of your main tools here in the top toolbar. Your profile, classes, and groups are shown here on the left side of the page. You can send a note to your teacher connections here in your Home Composer. On the right side of the page, you can explore trending conversations in this section right here. To make the most out of Edmodo, try creating a class. Click the plus icon in your class panel and customize it based on your students. You can now name the class, write a description for the class, select a grade or a range of grades, a subject, and choose a color that will be used to identify the class on the class panel. You can always make changes to your class settings by clicking the More icon, represented by the ... In the Advanced settings, you can fine-tune exactly how you want your class to appear. From the Class Composer, you can send out a quick welcome note by typing in the text box and clicking Post. This will give your new members something to see when they first join your class. To invite your students, click on Invite People and share the class code they'll use when they first create their account. If you give your students a class code, have them click I am a student. They'll need to fill in their account information, but here's where they'll use the code that you gave them. This step guarantees that they're securely enrolled in your class. They'll need to pick a username, but an email address isn't required for students. Have them create a password that they can remember, or they can use their Office 365 or Google accounts if available. If you sent your students an email invite, they'll see the name of your class when they click the provided link. Have them select Create a new account and I'm a student, then fill out the same account information as before. They'll now have to wait for you to either approve or deny them joining your class, but once they're in, they'll see a home page similar to a teacher account. They'll have access to various features in their top navigation bar, including the student planner to keep track of assignments and quizzes, unlimited file storage in their backpack, and messaging for unlimited contact with you or their other teachers. If given access, students can interact with their teachers' posts by liking them or replying to them. They can also send their posts to the class, which teachers can moderate if they choose. Students can join multiple classes and groups from their account, so they can set up their entire schedule if all of their teachers are on Edmodo. They can click Join a Class, enter a code provided by their teachers, and they'll see it get added to their class panel. Students can customize the color of their classes and will see the information specific to the color of their class stream. From their home stream, students will see a combination of all of their classes' recent activity. If you would like your students to have their parents or guardians create their own parent accounts, have your students click the Invite a Parent button or write down the parent code shown here. Parents can create an account to monitor the activity of the children and keep up with how they're doing in their classes. To create the account, they'll click I'm a parent and fill in their basic account information. Parents will need their child to provide their parent code found in the lower left panel of the student's homepage. This code only needs to be entered once per child and will connect them to all of their child's classes. Parents will see a different homepage since their accounts are designed to observe class activities and view their child's progress. They'll see each of their connected students here on the left side of the page. In the home page, they can view information sent directly to parents or public posts sent to the whole class. In the What's Due tab, parents can see events, assignments, and quizzes, as well as their own child submissions. If their work is graded, parents can access the grade, as well as the feedback provided by their teacher by clicking on the assignment. Going back to the teacher account, teachers always have full control over who is in their classes and can access all of their students as well as their connected parents from the Members tab. You can see which students have a parent on Edmodo when you see the name of the parent next to the name of the student in the Parents column of the Members section. I'm so glad you could join me today as we explored understanding teacher, student, and parent accounts. If you liked this video, be sure to check out our other videos on best practices on using Edmodo.
So that's a very short vid clip of how to go about Edmodo. As I said, it's so easy how to manipulate the learning platform, and it's so easy for the teacher to know whether the parent also is monitoring the child, and it's so easy also for the students to log in, because once they have the student code, they'll be able to get inside, and then they will be able to know what are the activities in store for them for that particular week by their teacher. So on the other hand, we already announced to you that the grade 4 to grade 10 will be using Equipper. So what I will be showing you is a short video clip as to how you go about using Quipper. As a disclaimer, I don't own this video. I just wanted to share it with you. Here you go. So Quipper personal account and its features. So in this tutorial, you will learn how to use your personal account and its features. Let's start. So you have to search for Quipper School website. So once you're able to get the website, you have to go get in there. And if you're a student, you have to choose the student portal. See, student will have to log in using their email and their password. Now, students will also be provided with their code by Quipper. So that's how the dashboard look like. The dashboard will allow the students to see points, edit their profile, and other virtual items. So if you're a student, you can select the subjects, and then you can click live, click the subjects you like, and you'll see all the topics under it. So you have to click your chosen topic, and you can select that to your grade level. So if you're done, click the button with Set Study Schedule. So in that particular area, you can set the schedule of what you want to study each day or what you want to access. So once done, just click the button, Finish. Now you're back to the dashboard. So in the dashboard, you can actually view all the topics. So you have to click a topic, and then you will see all the lessons in it. So you choose the lesson, what you want to study or read, and just click it. So you can even download the study guide by clicking download notes. So that's a new tab that will appear containing the study guide of the lesson. So you can close the tab when you're done downloading the study guide. Then you have to start a topic and watch video lesson if there are any. So if there is an assessment, all you have to do is just click the button. So you click the quiz button above the video to start answering. Then after that, then the quiz is finished. So after the quiz, you will see your score. So there is an immediate feedback whether you failed or not. So you can also choose another topic if you want, especially if the teacher will assign you an advanced topic to read. So to join a class, in your dashboard, you have to click the button with a join new class on classes section. So input the class code given to you by your teacher, then click the button join a new class. So that's it. So I hope you learned something from the video clip that I've just showed you. So for our next topic, we have how is learner progress recorded and computed. So I think this is a very important question that needs to be answered, because just like in a face-to-face situation, even if it's an online classroom or an online class, there are still ways and means to give grades. So for kindergarten, checklists and anecdotal records are used instead of numerical grades. So we're actually not giving numerical grades to our kindergarten pupils. So simply we use numerical grades. So these are based on learning standards found in the Depth Ed Kindergarten Curriculum Guide. So through checklists, the teacher will be able to indicate whether or not the child is able to demonstrate the knowledge and or perform the tasks expected of kindergarten learners. So through anecdotal records or narrative reports, teachers will be able to describe the learner's behavior, attitude, and effort in school. So as a parent, for example, of a kindergarten pupil, then looking at the report card, I will be able to know whether or not my child, okay, has learned this particular skill, because there's going to be a check mark, okay? Or there is a legend, for example, if it's not yet observable or very observable or satisfactory or needs something improvement, something like that. So for grades 1 to 10, because we don't have grade 11 and grade 12 in our school, so in a grading period, there is one quarter assessment. So usually we give long tests and then we give a quarter exam. But there should be, what's this? Instances in which students are asked to produce written work and to demonstrate what they know and can do through performance tasks. So there is no required number of work and performance tasks, but this must be spread out over the quarter and used to assess learner skills after each unit has been taught. So the following are the steps in computing for the final grade. So when we say final grade, it's a final grade for that particular quarter. So the first one, with all activities that are being given to, I mean, by a teacher to a student, so grades from all student work are added up, and then the sum for each component is converted to the percentage or to percentage. We do have our own what's this table for the percentage, okay? 60 the passing is really 60%. So for a student to be able to get 75%, you need to get 60% from the total scores. Let's say, for example, if a teacher will give a 10 item quiz, for you to be able to get 75%, you have to get 6 out of 10. Because if it's going to be 5, that's already a failing mark, because in our school we passing score is 60%. And then the third step is percentage scores are then converted to weighted scores to show the importance of each component in promoting learning in the different subjects. So we need to multiply it. For example, if the total written work is, for example, 98%, we get 30% from 98, and that will be the what's this for the weighted scores for the written work in that particular student. So as you can see on the table, we have the components for language, Araling Palipunan, and the values education. And then for science and math, then we have for MAPE and TLE. So the percentage distribution is actually different. So for language, AP and values education, we have written work is 30, performance test is 50, and quarterly assessment is 20%. Well, for science and math, we have 40, 40, and 20 for the quarterly assessment. And for MAPE and TLE, we have 20 for written work, 60% for performance tasks, and 20% for quarterly assessment. So the sum of the weighted scores in each component will be the final grade. So what aspects of student learning can we assess online? So below are online assessment methods, which serve as appropriate measures of cognitive, okay, based on Bloom's taxonomy of educational objectives. So as you can see there on the table, we have Bloom's taxonomy and the online assessment methods. So under Bloom's taxonomy, these are the areas in which the students can be given uh, what's this, grades. We have the knowledge, the comprehension, the application, and the analysis. So under knowledge, that can be multiple choice, a true or false, matching or fill in the blanks, short answer, flashcards or games, or even quizzes. For comprehension, we can go about simulations, animations, or tutorials. Then for application, we can have multiple choice, short answer essay, tutorials, simulations, games, case studies or investigative project, or even research paper. And then for analysis or synthesis or evaluation, it can be through multiple choice essay, multiple choice quiz, for example, or an essay, or a project portfolio, simulation, presentation, paper, virtual labs, or even case studies or investigative project, or even research work. Now, there are actually two types of online assessment. So the first one would be formative assessment. So formative assessment provides teachers and students with a timely feedback on mastery of course material learning objectives. In essence, instructors are sampling student learning and providing feedback based on the results to modify instruction and learning experience. Students can use feedback to identify areas of weaknesses for further study. So one type of formative assessment is through discussion, posts, or blogs, or chat. So individuals or groups can present summaries or engage in conversation on various topics, discussion to promote interaction. So teachers will provide guidelines and schedules to facilitate the discussion. So for example, if a teacher would want the students to discuss a particular question, the teacher can then instruct the student when to go online for video conferencing so that the students will then have that venue for discussion. And then we have small groups can have one spokesperson who posts while another member can respond to questions or comments from the rest of the class. And groups can chat or post discussion board with goal of coming to consensus on a problem or issue, then present their consensus to the rest of the class in blog, video, and part. So there are actually ways. So they can have synchronous through video conferencing, or probably a student who will respond to a particular question can record himself answering to that question through a video, and then he will post that video on the online platform and submit it to the by submitting it to the teacher. Okay, so that will be under discussion or post blog. So formative assessment, all major topics need a separate topic area so students can post the topics while keeping learning objectives in mind when creating the discussion for discussion for topics given. Maybe you'll be also asking, how will the teacher rate? So there are methods. For example, the teachers can provide rubrics so that the teacher can be guided what are the areas, specific areas that the teacher can give grades to. So teachers can create a new topic thread when there is an interesting topic or he or she wants to emphasize from previous student discussion. And teachers can also create a new thread to post external sources to help students on their weaknesses, misunderstandings from previous assignment. Chats can be helpful when groups or students need an avenue to ask and answer questions to facilitate collaborative work. Instructors can also use chat as office hour to interact in real time with the students. So, another form of formative assessment, we have quiz. It can be a short answer or a multiple choice quiz. So, short but frequent quizzes can help both the teacher and the students keep track on the learning progress. So a quiz can just be a 10 to 15 questions long, so that can somehow provide a feedback to the teachers whether the students are actually learning on that particular topic. So for a multiple choice quizzes, automated grading can save instructors time and provide quick feedback for students. And for short answer or short constructed response items, instructors instructors may want to provide additional commentary feedback through emails or through the use of a private communication platform in a learning management system. Now, there could also be activities in which it can be considered as a summative assessment. So this is the second form of assessment. So summative assessment are like long tests and quarter exams, okay? And then projects. If there are cases in which the teachers decide that to give a written long test or a written uh, quarter exams, then the teacher can opt to using projects. So projects can include simulations, role playing, research paper, or investigative project, problem solving exercises, group collaborative work, and brainstorming or even debates on various topics. So for individual projects, participants in group projects should receive peer feedback for a variety of viewpoints. An online environment allows students or the instructor to give and receive immediate feedback. So students can pursue special interests or predetermined topics by the instructor, write or create for an audience, and publish or present their findings and conclusion via websites, blogs, forums, or discussion boards. So teachers need to provide evaluation forms for self-evaluation and peer assessments. So I've said teachers will be guided with rubrics as to what to do. Now, there can also be ways in which the students will be evaluated by peers. There can also be ways in which um, other groups can somehow give an evaluation to this particular group. So that now depends on the approach of the teacher. But there are, as I've said, there are various ways and means to give grades to our students. So another form of summative assessment can be a portfolio. So students can be creative in showcasing the learning and growing through various combinations of papers, audio, video, or uh, blog presentations. So for example, if a teacher in this particular quarter would want the students to come up with a summary of the learnings that they have or they have achieved in the particular quarter, for example, then the teacher can somehow tell them to come up with a video or a blog. The students can be very was this expressive in a way that they can create a very artistic video and they can post that using the LMS. And then teachers can also predetermine what ought to be included in each portfolio because, for example, during my class in English for grade 9 or grade 10 students, for example, if I will tell them to come up with a video, of course, I have to explain to them what are my expectations or what are the things that I want to see from their video. So, all things that will be given should be very clear to the students so that the students would know what to do and what to put in their video presentations, for example. Now, teachers can also use rubrics to assess portfolios. It is really very important to come up with rubrics because this would help teachers eliminate biases, for example, or it somehow promotes fairness in giving grades because there are very clear areas as to how the teacher will give points. Okay, that's why rubrics is very important. So peer reviews of portfolios can also serve as an effective learning and assessment tool. So as I've said, there could be ways in which the teacher can tell the other groups to give grades, and then the teacher will give credit to that. But of course, when other group will give grades to this particular group, they will still be guided with rubrics. Now, another form of summative assessment is through presentations. So presentations can be in the form of informational web page, such as blogs, web-based student-generated quizzes, video, audio, or slideshows. Okay, um, I've done this several times already with my students, in which I require them to come up with their own blog, for example. There are a lot of free blog sites in the internet, and which is very easy to manipulate. And of course, the students will have to be guided what they should put in their blogs so that they know what specific thing that should be included in their blog. Okay. And another form of presentation can be a web-based student-generated quizzes because there are also many what's this auto-generated quizzes in which, for example, if the teacher will require them to have a self review, for example, they can come up with um student generated quizzes, and they can share it to the teacher so that the teacher would know and assess as to how much they've learned in that particular lesson, because that will show in the form of quizzes that they've generated. Now, they can come up also with a video or audio. I know our students now are very tech savvy, and they can come up with a very good video or even audio, because they really have the talent. Okay, the millennials now are very talented when it comes to technology. So that could be one, or even slideshows. For example, PowerPoint. They're going to have reports using slideshows. Our students also are very, very, what's this, good in presenting slideshows. So, to have a recap, in my previous discussion, I've already said there are two kinds of assessment. We have the formative assessment and the summative assessment. Okay, so formative assessment in the form of quizzes, okay, and other projects, other things to do, and then summative assessment can be the quarter exams, the projects, the presentations. Okay, so there can also be activities in which it can be considered both formative and summative assessment. So one of which is an investigative project or research paper. So our grade 9 and grade 10, okay, are really asked to come up with their own investigative project. And this project is a really good training for them, because I know that once they will go to college, they will encounter a lot of research activities. So this is now a training ground for them to be able to come up with a good IP. Of course, they need to know what are the things to do, how they're going to start with their IP. Okay, so an IP or a research paper is a formative and a summative assessment. Now, this can be used for individual or group assessment, but since our school is a small school and there are only a few numbers of students per class, then we really encourage them to do an individual investigative project so that they will really develop their skills in research. So asynchronous communication environment, discussion blogs instead of chat is actually more appropriate for problem-based approaches, because students have more time to reflect and collaborate with each other. So, for example, if there is going to be a schedule already um, for let's say research proposal, then we can do video conferencing, okay, and then uh, there will also be instances in which students probably would want to ask questions uh, to the teacher regarding his plans for his investigative project. Now that can be under discussion or blogs. So here is an example of using investigator project or research paper for online assessment. So each team member can be responsible for contributing responses for one or more problems by posting the reports. Now, this is an example if an investigatory project or research paper is group work, because there should be a collaborative effort among students. So each member of the team has a particular role to perform in a group, and then each one of them should also be graded accordingly. So based on question and critiques from team members, students can revise individual reports. Teachers can follow up by asking students to develop a situation from their real world experience. Students can use a variety of methods such as simulation or games or even videos or even slideshows, photos or stage dialogue, a narration over text and images. Okay. Now regarding the lower years, okay, regarding the lower years, the forgive me of the technical problem. I will just focus now the screen because we're done with the PowerPoint presentation of my discussion for this afternoon. Now, for example, for the grades 1, 2, and 3, because I know a lot of parents are asking or they have many questions such as, what are the possible activities? Now, since the grades 1, 2, and 3 and kindergarten have their own books, they will also perform activities in their books, okay? And what about the passing? As I have made mention in the previous was this webinar, I made mention that we may have drop boxes in which the students or the teachers can somehow post in the LMS when would the was this the book of that particular subject will have to be submitted, so the parents can now drop those what's this the books of their child in the school, and the teacher can check, and then we can also tell them when to collect it so that the students will be able to perform other activities using their book. Now, for example, if there will be performances or answering, as I've said, there could be synchronous and asynchronous, okay? So there will be days in which the students will just be answering those particular pages in their books, okay? And there will be days in which there is a live video conferencing, so that the teachers can check the students' knowledge or learning if the students have questions. Now, another question also that the parents had asked in our previous video, how to go about the classroom management. Now, of course, there should still be a house rule, even if it's an online learning. So it's very important, for example, to condition the mind of our children that once a teacher will set a schedule for them to go live for a video conferencing, if it's at 8:30, it's 8:30. Because, for example, if the student will be late, then the teacher has a what's this a choice whether to admit the student or not. So we should also practice house rules even if it's an online learning. Now, as I've said, it's very important that the motivation of online learning comes from the student themselves, because the teachers might just be there virtually, but in the totality of it, what we need most are the parents' support as well, because we cannot have face to face as of the moment. That's why we really need support from you, dear parents, for this online learning classroom setup to be successful. Okay, so that's it for this afternoon. Thank you very much for listening and for watching this video. I hope you learned something. And don't worry, I will still be posting other topics to discuss. And as I've said in our previous webinar as well, if you have questions and there are things that you need to be clarified with, all you have to do is just send us a PM to our FB page, or you can even communicate with our school registrar for time being, since we can only meet online. Okay? So, as I've said, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you learn. And until next time, then, bye bye.